Thank you very much for coming, for your time, your energy, and your effort. Your presence is the one that makes us all function, and that is why what we became today. Every day when you come, we get a special incentive from looking at you. Your participation is always a blessing to us, and that gives us the encouragement to continue the work that we do. As the Alliance of South Asian American Labor, my name is Misbahuddin. I am your national president. With me, our secretary, national secretary, Muhammad Karim Chowdhury, our national treasurer, Ahmed Shakir, and our national correspondence secretary, Jed Matalan, our national women's committee chair, Shahana Begum, our national women's immigration.
Scott is here. I'm admitting him. Scott is here. I'm admitting him.
Women's committee, national immigration director, Moushumi Khan. And I think since he's already here, we are going to continue with the, who else is there from national? I am talking only officers. Is there anybody?
Vice President of ASAAL, I was there till from the inception.
No, you are still there, Vice President, but Vice President will come by the chapter. Yeah, but let me do you, because Leela Maret is the National Vice President and also used to be the Secretary of Local 375. What is that?
Recording Secretary.
Recording Secretary of Local 375 as an engineer many years. Okay. And Rabbi Alam is our National Convention Director, is here. Also, they will be introducing themselves by the chapter very soon. Thank you. Okay, Kurmai, yes.
So should I start with the chapter leaders or Scott is here?
Okay.
Because it will take time to introduce. And I was thinking before Scott in, we should introduce our chapter leaders. Many vice presidents are here. So should we do this thing? I think that would be a better idea. Let him wait a few seconds because he needs to know our leaders.
Yeah, let me see. I think the idea is that, Scott, thank you very much for coming. Very soon you will be speaking and I will introduce you the way you should be presented, and then you will be speaking for 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever you want to speak, everything that you want to say to this rising community in the city, the most active group of people. And then, of course, few people have some questions similar to the one you already answering 100 times. So then we'll go from there. Okay, with that note, Karim Chowdhury, whom you met before, is the—
Yes, how are you, sir?
Good, good. Nice to see you, Scott. Looking good, looking great.
You too.
Yes. So Karim is going to introduce quickly. I already said that chapter will take, each person will just say their name and chapter. That's it. Okay.
I would like to introduce first our Queen chapter president, Professor Mayoral Islam, and Queen chapter women leadership there. And I want to, Monir Bhai, if you can just ask your people to, I'm asking actually directly, so without changing the microphone. Queen's leadership, please introduce yourself. Just say your name and the chapter. That's all. Please go ahead yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, this is MD Mayoral Islam, President of Queen chapter. Also, I am member of UFT.
Thank you, Monir Bhai. Just chapter name. Thank you.
Okay.
Harjit.
Hi, my name is Harjit Minhas. I'm the Queen's chapter secretary.
Very good. Next, Kaji. Kaji, please speak up. One after one. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Kazi. I'm a Queen chapter member, also ASAAL lifetime member. Nice to be here today. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next.
Sultana Khanam, Queen's chapter.
Hi.
Very good. Thank you.
Who else is there from Queens?
Yes, Hanapa, please go ahead. Rosie Appa next. Rosie Appa. Nurulok Bhai, introduce yourself. Nurulok Bhai, go ahead. we do not have time. Sorry, I apologize. We need to speed up.
You're taking more time because you're not going by the order. You keep calling people. That's not the way. This is Nurul Haq.
Thank you. Keep yourself muted all. We can hear a lot of background noise.
Okay.
Thank you. Keep yourself muted. Go next. Queens. Anybody else from Queens?
Okay. This is okay. Go to Brooklyn.
Go to Brooklyn. Brooklyn chapter. Dr. Mojibur Rahman Mujumdar, please.
আসছিলেন এই ঝড় বৃষ্টির মধ্যে কিন্তু অনেক ফ্রুটফুল আলোচনা
I'm muting
good
everybody.
evening.
Karim bhai, look at the list and then you open and introduce them. Because I think this is making too much noise. Okay, go ahead. Unmute.
Karim bhai, unmute.
Karim bhai, unmute. What happened?
Okay.
Yes, Karim bhai, go ahead.
Ji, go ahead, please.
Okay, good evening to all the ASAAL member. Good evening and welcome Mr. Scott Stringer, our future mayor of the greatest city of the world. I'm Dr. Mujibur Rahman Mujumdar. I'm the president of Brooklyn chapter. I have my secretary here also. He's going to introduce himself, Mr. Khairul Hussain, please.
Khairul bhai.
My name is Khairul Hussain. I'm secretary of Brooklyn chapter. Thank you.
Pintu bhai.
Pintu.
Unmute and talk. Pintu bhai, unmute and talk, please. Just name and chapter.
Hi, good evening. My name is Nasir Ahmed, Brooklyn chapter and organizing director.
Very good. Thank you, Pintu bhai. Azizul Haq, Brooklyn chapter.
Yes, good evening, please, everyone. I'm MD Azizul Haq, Brooklyn. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Anybody else from Brooklyn?
Mr. Akram is one of our distinguished member. I think he's busy right now, but I saw him also participating in. Mr.
Akram bhai, are you there?
Yeah, this is Mohammed Akram. I'm from Brooklyn. Thank you.
Thank you, Akram bhai. Anybody else from Brooklyn?
Over here. My name is Mohammed Hussain. Also, you can call me Asif. And I'm in the Brooklyn chapter. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Asif. Anybody else from Brooklyn, please? I'm sorry I'm rushing, but I'm trying to accommodate everyone. We have already 71 people and many people are joining.
Somebody's talking.
Good evening. My name is Abu Mustafa, Brooklyn chapter.
Thank you, Mustafa bhai. Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody else?
No.
Thank you. Thank you. We see Dimple. We see her. Welcome. Let's go to now our Bronx chapter. Bronx chapter, please introduce yourself. President Tamid bhai. Are you there? Alauddin, step yourself, please. Alauddin Patwari. Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. This is MD Alauddin from the Bronx chapter. Thank you.
Nasir bhai.
Good evening. This is Muhammad Nasir Mia from Bronx chapter executive vice president.
Very good. Thank you, Nasir bhai. Anybody else from Bronx?
My name is M. Rafil.
Lot of them others.
From Bronx chapter.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, assalamu alaikum everybody. I am Bronx Women's chapter, Jubeda Hussain Rosie.
Jubeda, thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? Bronx?
Good evening. This is Shoaib Mohammed, Bronx chapter. Thank you.
Shoaib bhai, nice to see you. I'm so happy to see you then. Okay, next.
Thank you.
I think Noor Faisal also there.
All right.
Yeah, good evening.
Come back.
I'm Noor Faisal from the chapter of Bronx. Very excited to be with you guys, and let's hear from the mayor candidate.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, also we have Muhammad Buyan. He connected also, and Nishad and Muhibur Rahman. Thank you, sir, for the Bronx.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now I am moving to Staten Island. Staten Island Chapter Secretary, introduce yourself, please.
Reginald Rajakuna, Staten Island Secretary.
Very good. Thank you, Raj. Anybody else? Vice President?
I'm Manzoor Sheikh, Executive Vice President, Staten Island Chapter. Thank
Any
you.
other Vice President from anybody else from Brooklyn? Staten Island, I'm sorry, I apologize. Staten Island Chapter.
Hi, my name is Abu Sijahate from Staten Island chapter. Thank
Very
you.
good. Thank you, Abu. Anyone
Karim bhai,
else
I have
from Staten
Dr.
Island?
Karim bhai.
Manzoor Ali Sheikh? Unmute yourself, Manzoor Ali Sheikh, Vice President.
Yes. Good evening. I'm Manzoor Sheikh.
Vice President. Okay, thank you from
Vice
Staten Island
President,
Chapter. Anyone else?
Yes,
Dada,
Karim bhai,
introduce
I
yourself.
have Manik bhai, the Vice President of Brooklyn chapter is on the line also. Please introduce him also.
Okay, hold on a second. Manik bhai, please introduce yourself. I'm sorry, Manik bhai, I did not even see him there. Manik bhai, please introduce yourself, Brooklyn chapter Vice President. Another 3-minute only introduction, so we get a cut. Manik bhai, please unmute yourself and talk.
You hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Hello.
Yes,
Go ahead.
yes.
Yeah, my name is Nazmul Hassan. I am the Vice President of Brooklyn chapter.
Thank you, Nazmul bhai. Dr. Chatterjee, please introduce yourself. Dr. Chatterjee, are you there?
Go ahead, President Emeritus, Staten Island chapter.
Burhanuddin, introduce yourself, Burhan. Say your name.
Muhammad Burhan. Assalamu alaikum, Muhammad Burhanuddin, Staten Island, ASAAL member.
Very good. Yep.
Karim bhai, we have Manhattan chapter too.
Okay, let me finish Staten Island, please. Staten Island chapter, anybody else here? I see a Staten Island chapter Vice President Muhammad Yunus. He is in my house now talking to my mom. He is listening from there. So, okay, Manhattan chapter, I would like to introduce from Manhattan.
Good evening. This is Mahabubur from Staten Island.
Very good, Mahbub, one of our vice president, and he's a great leader, community organizer. Mahbub, thank you. Next, anybody else?
Yeah.
Dr. Chatterjee, please introduce yourself.
I think
unmute yourself. You need to unmute. Dada, we cannot hear you. Unmute. Oh, let me unmute him. Let me unmute him. Where he is? I'm trying to unmute him. He's not unmuting.
Move to the next one. I told him, is this?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Scott Stringer and ASAAL members and officers. I used to be with ASAAL as the president at one time and on the Staten Island chapter. It's always nice to hear of the great things that you're doing. And I think we're doing a great job in asking Mr. Scott Stringer to present himself.
He's our president emeritus from Staten Island chapter.
Thank you, sir. All the best. I wish you all the best.
Thank you. With that, I would go to now Manhattan chapter. We have a great leader from Manhattan. She's a ASAAL member and my co-chair, I am the co-chair with her on the ASAAL Affirmative Action Committee statewide. My good friend and a great unionist, union leader, Tamara Martin. Tamara, please.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you. It's Martin Manhattan chapter.
Tamara, can you speak up? Nobody can hear you.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Union voice.
Yes, I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. Tamara Martin is a great organizer. We are so proud having her in our team.
Absolutely.
Manhattan, anybody else from Manhattan? Please.
Manhattan chapter, Muhammad Chowdhury.
Oh, Mohammed Bhai, Assalamu alaikum. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you guys. Good evening, everybody.
Anybody else? She's the president of our Manhattan, and he's a union president too. And he's also a CLC delegate to the CLC. and he has a lot of other union involvement. He's a great leader from Manhattan. Next, I'm sorry, I need to fast a little bit. Time is getting
that's
out.
okay. That's
So
okay. Thank you.
anybody else from Manhattan?
Hello, good night. I just wanted to say greetings from Brooklyn. This is Dimple Willibus.
Dimple, thank you very much, Dimple, and nice to see you. And we will be there. Let us introduce other people here. Now, Mabai, with your permission, I think I need to go to our outer state chapters because
Sure,
we are taking
sure.
a lot of time over here.
Keep doing it.
I would like to introduce our national vice president and the president of U.S. Capital chapters. Sharapat Hussain Babu, please introduce yourself only.
Good evening, everybody, all ASAAL leaders. This is Sharapat Hussain, U.S. Capital Chapter President and National Chapter Vice President, ASAAL. I have like our Secretary General, Mr. Mukit. Please introduce yourself, and any other from Virginia, from U.S. Capital, please introduce yourself.
Okay, that's good. Okay, Mukit Bhai, please.
Good to see you all here.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is Asif Rahman Mukit. I'm the GS from the U.S. Capital ASAAL chapter. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mukit Bhai, anybody else from U.S.
Yes. Yes, this is Mohammed Tofail Ahmed. Good evening, everybody. I'm Executive Director on U.S. Capital Chapter.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will go to chapter Virginia chapter. President Zakir Hussain. Zakir Hussain, introduce yourself. Zakir Bhai.
Thank you. Zakir Hussain, President, Virginia chapter.
Anybody else from your chapter is there today?
I have 10 plus people. Please introduce yourself.
Yes, ask them to introduce.
This is Abdul Halim. I'm Executive Director, Virginia chapter.
Very good. Thank you. Next.
This is Abdul Rajak, Vice President, Virginia chapter.
Next, please. Next. Thank you. Rajak Bhai.
Hi, Siddiqui, Immigration Director, Virginia chapter.
Hello, good evening. This is Golam Faruqi, Virginia chapter, Political Director.
Very good. Thank you, Faruqi Bhai.
Thank you.
Shamim Haidar, Virginia chapter, Vice President.
Great. Thank you. Next.
Good evening. This is Binod, Vice President, Virginia chapter.
Thank you. Virginia chapter is heavy today. Thank you. Okay. Anybody else from Virginia?
Yeah, Karan, we have Florida and Maryland too.
Yeah. Maryland will come next. Maryland, Kabir Bhai, Hassan Bhai, please introduce yourself. Who can do? Kabirul Islam, President from Maryland. Unmute yourself, please. Unmute. Hassan Chaudhary, please go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. This is Hassan Chaudhary, Secretary for Maryland chapter, and our President, Mr. Kabirul Islam, on his way, like he will join soon.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Anybody else from your chapter joined today, Maryland?
A couple of people supposed to join. Anybody else here? Please unmute yourself.
If we miss anybody, they can. Yeah, move, Karim Bhai.
Okay. So now I will, if anybody, please let me know or text me or text Mabbai. We will try to cover everybody.
Yes.
I would like to introduce now a Staten Island chapter, another youth leader, Shahid Majumdar. Shahid, speak up and say your name. Shahid Majumdar, unmute yourself, then say your name. Okay, I'm moving to Florida now. Florida, Farooq Hussain. Farooq Bhai, please introduce yourself from Florida. Chapter President Farooq Bhai. Unmute yourself and talk.
Go to New Jersey.
Okay, I'm sorry. I need to move on to New Jersey. New Jersey, Farooq Hussain, please introduce yourself.
Good evening. Assalamu alaikum, all leaders, and welcome Mr. Scott Stringer, the candidate for New York City Mayor. This is Farooq Hussain. I am President of New Jersey chapter.
Thank you. Anybody else from your chapter there? Akbar Bhai?
I believe someone there, but
Chitan is there. Chitan is there.
Yeah, Chitan, introduce yourself. Chitan, go ahead one more time. Everybody needs to see you. Introduce yourself, please. One more time. Unmute, then talk. I'm sorry, I need to come back then Chetan later on. It's 80 people. I would like to take now opportunity to get our chapter from Albany chapter, our capital region chapter, Mizanur Rahman, Professor Mizanur Rahman, please.
Hello, good evening, everybody. This is Mizanur Rahman, President of the New York Capital Region chapter. And I would like to congratulate Scott Stringer as a candidate of the New York City Mayor. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else from your chapter here today? Your secretary Mito is there?
I don't say him. If anybody comes, they will introduce.
Okay.
You can
very
go
good.
ahead and proceed.
Michigan chapter, President Dr. Rabbi Alam, please.
Thank you so much. Good evening. And Scott Stringer, good luck. And really, we are hoping to see you as the mayor. And we have, our woman co-chair and our vice president, Mr. Mahabub Khan and Attorney Moshumi Khan.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening. This is Mahabub Khan, Vice President, Michigan chapter. Thanks all of you.
Thank you. Moshumi Appa, go ahead.
Good evening. I hope you're all staying safe and warm. I'm really happy to hear and meet you, Mr. Stringer, and really excited to engage with you and wish you the very best in the election coming up. We'll be following up with some questions later.
Okay, very good, very good. Our Jacksonite chapter, anybody from Jacksonite chapter now? Jacksonite chapter. Okay. All right. So, Mabai, with that note, I think we have now 80 plus people, more people are coming.
Yeah.
As I said, it will be more than 100.
Hassan Ali, can you introduce yourself? You are from the
Wrong
Bronx.
time of saying. Hassan Ali Bhai, I was calling your name. Please introduce yourself. Unmute and introduce yourself. Shaukat Hussain Salim, our media partner, journalist Shaukat Hussain Salim, please introduce yourself.
Hassan Ali Bhai, unmute.
Salim Bhai, are you there?
Yeah.
You are broadcasting nationwide now in several media, so people want to see you.
This is Shakwat Hussain Salim, usanewsonline.com editor.
Thank you very much. Salim Bhai is our media partner. His organization always support our activities. Thank you, Salim Bhai, for your outstanding support and the sincere effort to reach out to the people.
Let us do this. I think. Thank you very much, Controller Stringer, for waiting and hearing the voice of those who plan to volunteer many more months in the coming days until June 22nd. Your patience is always appreciated. I know you for a long time. ASAAL knows you from the beginning. I think it is true that from 2008 convention till today, you have missed very few ASAAL convention. But we knew you from kind of when you started your childhood. I think you are the youngest man appointed to the community board in the history of the city of New York that I know. And then in, I think, 1993, you became the assistant to the Assemblyman Jerry Nadler, who is now the most powerful congressman, one of the powerful congressmen. And later you became Assemblyman. In 2014, you became 2007, you became the 26th borough president of Manhattan, which is borough of New York, but it is called Manhattan, fine. Then in 2014, you became the 44th New York City controller. There is no other controller bears this much responsibility with 5 retirement systems with $240 billion to manage. Oh boy, I am an actuary, and I know how well you have managed those $240 billion last 7.5 years. I have not been able to see in the eyes of my actuarial knowledge to find someone parallel to you, close to you. So I am very honored to know you from day one. And then of that, you have divested the investment wherever an organization that did not patronize the union workers, that did not do for the communities, that did not support the diversity. You remove investment from this $240 billion in different retirement system. As late as 3 weeks ago, you invested $4 billion out of fossil fuel. So this is what you have shown. You have worked with ASAAL. Every year you called us, your office were engaged with us to find those contractors who are cheating the poor employees, their workers, and you have recovered millions of dollars for them. I was almost in every one of them. We have a statement with you, went to the press release every year thereafter. So this is what you are. You have done audit agencies after agencies and found the misuse and how the corruption is infested the city. Today, there are 20 so people are running for the mayor. But the understanding that we have as per the politics is concerned, we found that no one should come first to the appearance and to say something better than you. And that is why we called you to give your time today. You have given us a lot of time just to hear our introduction. So now it is you who will be saying your vision, your mission to become the next mayor of the city of New York, Scott Stringer. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome him in ASAAL standing ovation. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Woo! Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody. I can hear you all the way from all over the world, the United States. And I want to start out first and foremost for thanking you for giving me this opportunity tonight. I know many of you have families and you love this city so much. You would want to hear and know about the future. And I'm very proud to be here with you. I have to first thank Maf Uden, who is more than a union leader, more than your leader. He is a personal friend of mine who has been inspirational and has been a guide for what is possible in the controller's office. And I am very grateful for his friendship and also for his advice because, you know, running for mayor of New York City is a very tough job, as you can imagine. And you need your friends around you who are willing to tell you what you need to know. So Maf, thank you for your friendship, for your family, for your children. I think you are a real amazing New Yorker. And I want to thank the Alliance of South Asian Labor for being here tonight and giving me an opportunity to share ideas with you. ASAAL has always been the centerpiece of what's happening in New York, and the South Asian community is growing and it's exciting and invigorating. And I am so glad to have had a long relationship with all of you. And let me say this, we cannot come out of this recovery without all of you. And I would just say to you that when you think about where we were in February 2010, when the unemployment rate was 3.4%, and the fact that over 10 years we had added 970,000 jobs to the economy, once COVID hit in March, the unemployment rate went from 3.4% to 20%, and we lost 900,000 jobs. This was not the Great Recession of 2008, or after Hurricane Sandy, or after 9/11. This was worse than the Great Depression. And we saw bread lines and food lines, and we saw a whole economy shut down overnight. And we need a mayor who has the vision and the skills to build our city back. Because the future of this city depends on being a place where, one, everyone can afford to live. The entrance fee to New York cannot be a $2 million condo. We have to invest in our children and our schools. We have to invest in real affordable housing. We need to reform the police, and we need to have an economy that works for everybody, that rewards the great diversity of our city. And that is why I have put out a plan to bring our small businesses back, a 25-point plan to make sure that we are giving the tax breaks and the tax incentives to support our small businesses, especially our immigrant businesses, especially the South Asian businesses that mean so much to our economy, but are struggling tonight. I want to help with tax breaks, but also help develop online platforms and give businesses an opportunity to make it. I also want to think about how we're going to prepare for the jobs that will be coming to the city. We know that jobs in IT and telehealth are on the way, but we have to make sure our kids and even adults are trained with new workforce development. And that's why I want to offer free tuition at CUNY schools, 2-year colleges, so that we can give people the micro-credentialing they need to get the better jobs that will be coming here after the pandemic is over. And that's true with our 21st century transportation system. We need to build out our bus network that goes where the jobs are. And whether you live in Queens or the Bronx or Brooklyn, there are new economic hubs, but we've got to make sure our people can get there, especially people who work in the unions of this great city. They're the frontline workers. They're the ones who should have a little easier life because they save so many lives in the city. And that's why I want to create real pathways for our union brothers and sisters and for the diversity of our city. But look, a lot of candidates can come and talk to you, right? And say the exact same thing. Plans are not enough. It's going to take real government and political skills to get things done. All of you know this. No one in this race matches my experience. As Mav said, I'm in the assembly for many years. No one's going to steal my lunch money in Albany. As borough president, I grew the tax base while protecting communities. I made sure that when things were built and done, they were built union all the way. As controller, I've managed the fourth largest public pension fund in America, the 14th largest in the world. It's $240 billion. And my job was to make sure that I protect the retirement security of all of our union workers. And I've also took aggressive action against wage theft. I've debarred more crooked contractors than any previous controller. I've assessed more than $30 million in prevailing wage violations. I paid over $15 million to employees who were cheated out of their wages. Many people in this community, we made sure we gave the money back. And finally, I just want to say to you two things. In April, like many of you, I had a relative, my mom died of COVID, and she died in a Bronx hospital. And the doctors there said to me, you have to understand that the people who are dying are people of color, are people who live in the Bronx and Brooklyn and Queens, and you got to do things differently. We can no longer manage people's health issues. We have to solve them. And I want you to know that we cannot reopen the economy the same way we closed it. Now, I don't come personally for money. I've been a public servant all my life. So my little kids, I got married late in life. Maf knows I have a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old. You know, I'm not going to be able to leave them a lot of wealth. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave my kids the greatest city in the world. And I'm going to do that for your kids and your grandchildren. And I'm also going to make sure that the kids who are in homeless shelters that are not learning because the devices don't work, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to be their mayor too. And I pledge to you to be mayor. I will be ready on day one, not day two, day one, to bring the city back. Your support is critical to my candidacy, because when ASAAL endorses a candidate, people respect it throughout the city. Unions respect it. Advocates respect it. The South Asian community respects it. And when you endorse, you don't just say, I endorse. You then help build the campaign to victory. And that's what's going to happen in June. Thank you all very, very much. And I'd be happy to take your questions. Thank you, Maf.
Really appreciate it.
Let us put your hand together, please. Let us put your hand and give a big hand, please.
Thank you. You have summarized.
We all muted, so we cannot hear all the claps. We get our people muted.
Yes, 7:35. The first question comes. Yes, Hassan Ali Bhai, you could not unmute yourself. How are you going to talk?
We have a very strong political director.
Yes. Now, introduce yourself.
আমি সাউথ এশিয়ান মুসলিম কমিউনিটির পক্ষ থেকে সিটি হলে মুসলিম অ্যাফেয়ার্স গঠনের আবেদন জানাচ্ছি।
All right, let me
introduce yourself first. First, introduce yourself. Give your name.
My name is Hassan Ali, and I'm a life member ASAAL. and I am Bangladeshi American. I urge to mayor candidate, we need in the city hall Muslim affairs. We need one guy. We can talk with you by the Muslim affairs, and we also request you at least one Muslim deputy mayor and one commissioner. Thank you.
Why are you settling just for one?
At least.
Get Muff to be the negotiator. He comes into my office, he knows how to take a lot more. We're not going to just have one.
Good.
Thank you. That was a good starter, and Marf is taking, be noted.
Scott, let me explain to you. I'm sure you understood what he wanted. He wanted, under your leadership in the city hall, to create a Muslim affairs divisions and a deputy commissioners, as well as as you teased him, he wants only one commissioner. You said, why one? And I think you got the message and you answered it clearly. We all understood. Thank you.
Thank you. And let me also say that we are going to have real representation in the Muslim community. We're going to appoint Muslim leaders at the highest levels in this administration. You know that I have already devoted a lot of my respect to the people in my office who reflect the hopes and dreams of the Muslim community. And I promise you that we're going to have that transition and that work together.
Please give him a big shout out. Please give him a big shout out.
Let's do it together.
Control. Yeah,
We-
I know.
we trust you.
Let us do this. Nobody ask a question until I call the name. This is first.
Yes.
Second part is that this is very important. The Alliance of South Asian American Labor consisted of 8 countries: Afghanistan, Bangladesh, India, Nepal, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, Maldives. So we have religion, it's a combination of many religions because Muslim, Hindu, Buddha, Christian, everybody. Though the demand here is the Muslim, it only means if one minority gets the opportunity, the other minorities is followed to go. Like what will happen during de Blasio's time, we asked for a school holiday during the Eid. Now there is a demand we are supporting that there should be Eid holiday for Diwali. So those are the things we always talk about, the whole community. Now, the next question is from Harjit bin Haj. He's the secretary of the Queen's chapter. Harjit, go ahead.
Hi, thank you, Scott. How are you doing today?
Good.
Okay, so I had a question for you. You mentioned that you were going to be a mayor not from day 2, but from day 1, right? What would you do different compared to any other, political positioned person, whether that be an activist, whether that be a politician? What would you do different from day 1 for New Yorkers in general, just to help, I guess, get out the pandemic and, deal with the job losses, people fleeing New York? How are we going to bring back jobs? What would you do different at this current moment that'd be different from anything anyone else would promise to us or, tell us?
Look, I want to bring my skills to do 3 things immediately. 1, we have to reopen the economy. We can't open it the same way we closed it because we're going to have to make major investments in the communities like this one that was hit hard by COVID. That means you're going to have to understand where the agency budgets are, where the waste is, how we can look at the programs that work and get rid of the programs that don't. I've looked at every one of those agencies as the chief auditor in the city, so I know exactly what to do. Second, we have a health crisis, and we have got to change this paradigm. We can no longer manage the health conditions of so many of our diverse communities, and I'm going to implement a plan to begin to actually solve these health problems by working with community stakeholders and the health community. 3, we do have a social justice issue. We have to align our values. We have to make sure our kids keep away from the criminal justice system, and we have to provide definite quality of life, which starts with education of our children. I've got 2 public school kids. I know how hard it is. There are some schools that have a lot of wealth and other schools that are struggling. In our immigrant communities, the funding is not the same. And I know better than any candidate for mayor where the bodies are buried and where the waste is buried. Hundreds of millions of dollars in the Department of Education that goes to the bureaucracy, but never quite makes it into the classroom. And look, COVID hit us very hard, and you made the point. The first thing we have to do is rebuild after COVID. And that's why I'm fighting now for a better vaccination plan. I think this administration has had some good ideas, but didn't build an administration to accomplish things. And that's what I'm good at. I'll attract the best and the brightest, the most diverse administration that we've ever seen. And with my management skills and my understanding of how government works, we will get things done. I'll have a different relationship with Albany. We have a plan for housing, for education, for social justice, but I'm going to do it through the lens of getting things done. No more speeches. Let's work together on day one to bring the city back, because we don't have time to waste. This economy is ticking, and we've got to either take a stand and build it back, or we could lose it forever.
Very good.
Thank you, Scott.
Next question comes from Arif Ahmed Chowdhury from Queens.
Good evening. Thank you so much for giving me a chance to speak to our upcoming mayor. I'm really, really happy to join with you. And I have a question that, okay, before that, let me just explain that I'm from Queens chapter. I'm a long-time member of ASAAL, and I wish ASAAL will do better in our future. And now I have a question for you that since I work in a Department of Finance as a finance employee, I see there's an inequality of payments between the New York City and New York State among the same title. So what do you have any plan that you can bring to the payment equality among the same titles among the city and state? Do you have any plan about it?
It's a good question. Look, the state negotiates differently than the city, but I've been talking to a lot of union members about how we can equalize pay equity and create one standard so that we don't have a disparity and that we reward people equally. I really believe in the city workforce. You know, as controller, I've managed 788 employees, most of them union. That was true when I was controller and true when I was borough president. No other mayoral candidate has had that kind of unions that have come under my employ. And I know that we have to do a relook at all of these situations to make sure that we have equity and we have fairness in the titles. And I will work with you to do that.
Thank you so much, Shub.
Next question is from Nurul Haq, Executive Vice President, Queens Chapter. Nurul Haq, are you there?
He's there. Unmute yourself.
Okay.
We need to move on.
Yes, Shahana Begum from Queen Chapter.
I'm here, Mabai, but I was not able to see my picture.
Okay, go ahead. Ask your question, please.
Okay. Hello, Scott. How are you?
How are you?
I'm good. I would like to, while everybody asks you a question, I would like to appreciate, thank you for standing up for the Eid holiday. Thank you for standing up for the halal food in school. Thank you for standing up for gathering the after Eid holiday celebration. And I was attending all of them. I know you love our community, and I hope you will continue doing it. Right?
Well, you have my word. And by the way, I was really proud to work with all of you to create the first program to offer halal and kosher meals in the city schools. And we started with a $1 million pilot program, but you know what? We've got to make sure that halal is available for all the children in the school system. You know, this is serious because a lot of kids will not eat the school lunch without halal. It's part of the religion. And why are we taking so long to implement it? I will get this done. We don't need any more pilot programs. We have the coalition. We have the money. We have to invest it.
Well, my brother Hassan Ali asked for something. I want to be more specific. You said, why only one commissioner? I would say, I want at least a couple of commissioners from ASAAL, and I am showing my interest. I want to be one of the commissioners. I hope you will remember. I want to represent ASAAL during your time. Thank you very much.
I see your face.
Email every time.
Look like a commissioner.
All right. Thank you. Promise make, promise kept. You mentioned
Thank you.
without ASAAL, nothing is possible. ASAAL will stand up. You know the way ASAAL work. ASAAL don't only endorse. We go door to door. We do the phone banking. We do anything for you. But I want you to put ASAAL on the top of your list. Thank you very much.
He's a good. I think he's better than you, Mom.
I know it looks like yes. It is a training. So now we have Ibrahim Al Jahim who want to introduce himself and he has a question. Ibrahim is there.
Yeah, Ibrahim Jahim from Michigan chapter. He's there.
Yes. Hello, everyone.
Yes. Go ahead.
Hi.
Yes, my name is Ibrahim Al Jahim, political director of ASAAL and Michigan chapter. I met Controller Scott Stringer about, I think in 2017, I believe.
Yes.
And back then he did an amazing job and you have our support and congratulations.
Thank you,
and
brother.
come over there and work for you in June and November.
Thank you, brother. Ibrahim, thank you.
Take our word and we'll do that for you. And congratulations ahead of time before anybody else. Say it to you, Mr. Mayor, Scott Stringer. Congratulations. We love you. We respect you. We'll work for you. Thank you.
Feeling is mutual. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yes, Attorney Moushumi Khan.
Well, please accept our sincerest condolences on your mother's passing. That must be very difficult. So this is very personal to you, for no doubt. So we're very sorry for that.
Thank you.
And I wanted to actually speak to you as a transplanted New Yorker, and now I'm back in Michigan, where I'm from Ann Arbor, Michigan. But I have a question about immigration, and I wanted to give you a little bit of context because we would love to hear your plans. You used the word immigrant as you were speaking. I'd love to hear your plans for undocumented workers. And by way of context, I'll tell you, I am a New York lawyer. I was there on 9/11, very sadly. And in fact, I was one of the founders of the Muslim Bar Association and their first president, and now serve on the Interfaith Center of New York with your colleague, Ruth Messenger. And and I know Sarah Saeed very well. And I remember working on the halal, all the Eid holidays, and it's wonderful that you guys have made such progress. You really impressed me about where the money is, it will show what you value. And so my question is, and the reason I mentioned this is because about my background, it's not about me, but the access to hearing people's stories. It's quite clear you're an excellent listener. You've been listening to us for a very long time. And when I would listen to my clients and my friends and family members, cab drivers, restaurant workers, bus boys, and just general members of the New York community, my heart broke because they have been working to get immigration status for a number of years. And if I can be just very blunt, as a controller, you know where the monies and the bodies are buried. They are the fuel of the New York economy. Like a former client of mine that I did an asylum case for. In fact, I did a lot of Muslim-Jewish dialogue in New York, and one of my mentors, Eugene Goldstein from Brooklyn Heights Synagogue, helped me to do his asylum case. This gentleman called me the night before the inauguration, and he's so excited that Biden will have a plan. And so my question is, what will you do for undocumented immigrants, and how can we twine that together with the national policy? And lastly, I'll build on the previous speaker. Although I am in Michigan right now, fiscally irresponsibly, I have left my furniture in New York for many years. And so and I'm sorry to say that to someone as smart and money a manager as you are, but my heart, and we would love to support you. So if you have any kind of permission or any kind of way for us to share our personal experiences, because many people tell us things, as I'm sure Mark Misbadin and others, that we would love for you to know. So I offer that support, and my question is about undocumented and immigration policies.
Well, I'm glad your furniture's in New York, because you should come back when I'm there and you can help me do this work. Is that fair?
I will support you anyway that we can.
All right, well, we'll get you back. That's the goal.
As we say.
But you look, I have seen the attack of the federal government on our Muslim brothers and sisters. I've been outside 26 Federal Plaza as people were taken away and never came out. I can't believe what I witnessed in the last 4 years. It is a travesty of justice. and we're going to have to make it right. And New York City is a place that's a safe space for immigrants and people from all over the world. And the next mayor must be somebody who is not just going to go to the rallies, not just issue the statements, but make sure that we fill the gap in terms of resources for undocumented people in the city, for the children, because that is going to be the test of leadership. I don't think that we should have people who apply for citizenship pay fees. Why are we doing that? So many people in our city have to choose between a citizenship and putting food on the table. I would wipe that all away. I'm going to work to make sure that the Biden administration keeps its promise for immigrants, and I'm going to make sure that New York City is a safe space to do that as well. You know, I divested from private prisons because they were becoming ICE detention centers. And DC 37 and so many of the unions stood with me when we got out of that, because we can no longer be a conduit to spying and hurting people in this country. And I will stand with you every step of the way. I will budget in that way. I will make sure that we build coalitions in that way.
Thank you. Thank you, Scott. Mabay, are you there?
I think I am muted too. Okay, so the idea is that we will take 3 more questions because he's going to leave at the dot 8 p.m. So with that note, I think Adan Islam, are you there?
Yes. Yes.
Go ahead.
Hi.
Hi. Good evening, Mr. Scott Stringer. I have met you in a post-it celebration with both of my sons. Yes, yes.
Thank you.
And it was inspirational for my elder son, and that, you know, he is now getting interest in politics of this country. Okay, yeah.
Great.
Okay. Okay, I'm Adan Islam. I'm the Women Committee Chair of Queen's Chapter ASAAL. As a Women Committee Chair of Queen's Chapter, and Queens is a very, you know, the I think most diversified area of this city. So during this pandemic, I have observed that you know, within the South Asian community, the domestic violence issue has been a rising concern. So my question is regarding this, like, what is your plan about combating domestic violence? I want to give another clue because, you know, when South Asian women are getting victim of domestic violence, and when they are sent to the shelter homes, they often scared about going there because, you know, that they cannot practice their religious preferences. So yeah, so for the Muslim community, for the South Asian community, for the women specifically who eat different food, who you know, the practice their religious beliefs, or they practice their religion in differently. Do you have any plan to, you know?
So you should know that when I was a state assemblyman, I was the co-author of the New York stalking law, because some women were chased down and killed by their abuser. I sponsored the bill that mandated that police officers have to serve orders of protection for women at the assembly. And I will tell you, I just finished doing an investigation as controller, and what would surprise people is that the #1 reason why the shelter system is at capacity is because of domestic violence. That is the leading driver. That's 41%. Eviction, 27%. So we have a domestic violence crisis, yes, in the South Asian community, but throughout the system. What I would do immediately is I would extend the shelters, domestic violence shelters, permanently. If you're in a shelter, why should you be forced out after 180 days with your family? I think we have to rebuild the shelters to make them safer for women, children, but also, again, given the diversity of the city, we have got to make sure that people can practice their religion, eat the food, because this is not supposed to be a prison. It's supposed to be a safe space from somebody who's trying to create harm to somebody else. And I have a record going back 30 years fighting on this issue when people didn't know about it. You weren't supposed to talk about it. And
Yes.
we are funding and talking about it, but we're not done yet. And we also have to recognize the city becomes diverse. People have different ways that they live, and it's not the same system. So one, we need to expend more domestic violence. But finally, what I would tell you is the real challenge is an affordable housing plan. We need to create low-income housing with supportive services.
Definitely.
Next question is from Sharmin Sultanat Tahir.
Mhm.
Sharmin, are you there?
Thank you so much.
Sharmin, are you there? Sharmin. Okay. Next question is Reginald Rajakaruna. Reggie.
Hi, Scott Stringer. This is Reggie from Staten Island chapter. Staten Island does have an addiction problem, and you said you were going to have alternatives. So that, and also what's your plan? Would you support closing Rikers Island?
Well, I was the first elected official to say we should close Rikers Island. As the population was going down, the cost and the violence was going up. As somebody who saw firsthand the dangerous conditions there, it is time to close something that doesn't work anymore. And we have to then make sure that for the young people who we believe in, that we keep them away from the criminal justice system. And I'm committed to that. And in terms of the opioid crisis on Staten Island and around the city, look, we have got to start dealing with prevention and programs that work to save our children. A lot of this is behind closed doors, and we need to invest in the programs and the strategies that are going to help our children. This is an epidemic, and it's an epidemic that we now have to confront, and I will as mayor.
Next question is from Sultana Khanam.
Hi, Mr. President, I hardly can hear anyone. So is there any way you can increase the volume? I cannot hear.
But you asked the question, we hear.
Okay. You can hear me? Okay.
Yes, loud and clear.
Hi, my name is Sultana Khan, and I'm political director, Queens chapter, and also I'm a city worker, and also working in the social work field, ACS. I have a question. There are two parts, so let me ask you a question, if you allow me, Mr. Stringer. First of all, thank you so much. And also thank you, ASAAL, to give me an opportunity to ask a critical question. So let me start my question. We saw COVID, more minority died. Now less minority received vaccine. Same thing is about economy. How you plan to balance that as a mayor? This is one question. And then second, another question is very short, that do you have any specific plan in or strategy to give funding in social work field, because our community children are entering foster care, and then we are very short of funding. So, and it's breaking the whole family system, and also especially for Muslim families. So, and it creates, like, as Miss Adan says, that domestic violence, and any other specific plan if you have. So if you can answer this question.
Of course. Well, let me say that part of to the first part about COVID, there's no doubt that communities of color were hit very hard, and now they're being hit hard twice. I demanded that the mayor release the data on who was getting the vaccine based on race. And no surprise, 48% of white people were inoculated, 15% of African Americans, 11%, and it went from there, right? And that is not acceptable in our city. And I've said to the mayor that we need to inoculate in all communities, which means we have to be more proactive. And I have a series of ideas to, one, ramp up the tests, ramp up the vaccination sites 24/7, take some of the community tracers and redirect them to being educators in the community. A lot of people are afraid of taking that vaccine, but that doesn't mean you throw your hands up and you don't help. We've got to vaccinate our communities of color in all of our neighborhoods, whether you live in Jackson Heights or live in Staten Island. And I, as controller, not as a mayoral candidate, I promise you, I'm going to continue and continue to fight until every community is vaccinated. And again, to your second question, and I commend you for your work at ACS. It's the toughest job fighting for families and children. It's work as a parent. I can only say thank you many, many times. And look, this is the kind of mayor that we need, is somebody who understands that it's tough in the city agencies and the work that you do. And we do need to have investment, and we do need to have better management. We do need to listen to the workers who are on the front lines dealing with families and children. And you have a job that in a lot of ways is life and death for kids. And I respect that. And as mayor, as a father of a 9-year-old and 7-year-old, this mayoralty is going to be dedicated to the people who are the frontline workers, people who work with our children, and the people who will bring the city back. And
thank you very much. Next question is, I think we'll take one and two more questions. That's it. The rest should write. We'll answer back to you. Shakir, our national treasurer and a founding leader, who was the secretary of Local 375 for many, many years. Here is Ahmed Shakir.
Yeah. Good evening, Controller Scott Stringer.
How are you?
I think I met you several times, and you know me very well.
How are you?
And I used to be a vice president of District Council 37, and we are the founding member of the ASAAL. And thank you very much. All those years you are helping ASAAL in attending all our conventions.
Thank you.
I have a two-part question. I may try to make it short. First is that when we are talking about the affordable housing, then I think how you're going to help the small landlord, because small landlords all in 5 boroughs, they are the main base for the people, those who cannot pay the rent or they can hardly pay the rent. So the main thing is how you're going to help small landlords to improve the affordable housing.
Well, look, we shut down the entire economy, and a lot of people lost their jobs. That's how I started out talking tonight. 900,000 jobs were lost in 30 days, and people, through no fault of their own, could not pay rent. And we can't evict people for that. So with the federal stimulus package, we have to make sure that we can alleviate the rent burden for people who lost their jobs and who simply couldn't pay. But also we have to help the small landlord. We have to give them resources to absorb that cancellation, because you can't have a situation where people's mortgages collapse. And that's going to take a mayor who understands finance, making sure we work with the banks, with the mortgage entities, the small landlords, and also protect the tenants and their families. Thank you.
Yeah, but during this time when they don't pay the rent, but still we have to pay taxes to the city, and they charge us the interest and penalty.
Look, nobody is getting thrown out because of the COVID. The question is, what do we do after the moratoriums are over? And as I said, I think we're going to have a lot of federal stimulus money, or enough money to create programs to make sure that the
rent assistance. Yes.
Yeah, well, rental assistance for the tenants, and also mortgage assistance for the landlord.
Thank you. The last question is from Dr. Mujibur Rahman, Brooklyn chapter president. Dr. Mujibur Rahman. This is the last question. Anybody else has question, please send it to the chat.
I had one more question.
Thank you for giving me.
I've been sending you the request to ask a question.
Please keep yourself muted one time until we call. Please do not just start talking. Dr. Mujibur Rahman, please.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Scott Speaker. Number one is that, as you know, the South Asian community is one of the major backbone of this city, and everywhere the Southeast Asian community is, that's the area of the city is most vibrant, business-wise, academically, school-wise, and also crime-wise. But all this year that I'm in this New York City for the last 38 years, but I did not see from the mayor office that coming forward with a program that helps the Southeast Asian community, who basically, even in the hardest time of the economy, hold the community well and brought this economy back of New York. I would like to ask you that if you become the mayor, will you create a kind of a council for the Southeast Asian, where the mayor office can help them, the entrepreneur of Southeast Asian, to build more business and more safer community and better school and better community center for this community that working so hard for New York City?
The answer is yes. And the way you know that I will do that is because of the relationship I've had with the community. I'm here tonight and I'm proud to talk about my record. I'm not somebody who just showed up to ASAAL for the first time. I have deep relationships in the communities, in the business community. And as Maf knows, and many of you know, I am very committed to making sure that we can invest in the South Asian community, invest in the Muslim community, invest in terms of helping small businesses, creating opportunities for children, making sure that our mosques are safe. This is what I believe to my core. And look, I have the experience to do this. I know I'm not making you a promise I can't keep. I'm making you a promise because I can keep it, because I know the finances of the city. I've been in these fights and I'm ready to go.
So
Yes, with that, Maria, I'll need 3 more minutes because of the reason 2 more people need to say 1 minute each. The first one will be Rabbi Alam, Dr. Rabbi Alam from Michigan chapter, Rabbi Alam quick, and then Karim Chaudhary, our national secretary.
Thank you so much. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. God bless you. Actually, I am Dr. Lam. I met you start back in 2007 in the fall.
Wow.
And with this long time, with the leadership that profounded with the growing fundamental and our backbone, Maf Mesbah. Today you run in the New York City. It just we feel like we are running. I feel like I am running as a Bangladeshi American, as a Southeast Asian, and also when we already map clear that we say Muslim American, like we are minority. When I say Muslim American, I'm absolutely taking and bringing my Hindu American, my Christian and Jew, and all this Sikh, any minority. But my comments to you is that, you grew to the point where we are feeling one of us is running. And definitely this coming election, we are, even though in Michigan or Georgia or anywhere, Newark is the heart of all of our immigrant community, our family members of the world, our organizations of the world. So we will be doing every possible thing, including the media banking, phone banking, whatever you need, you name it. And absolutely, ASAAL National will be there. And finally, as a veteran of Iraq or as a veteran of Afghan or, your leadership in our community to recognize and making us and helping us to a vibrant position. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank Mesbah and Muhammad Karim.
That was
Thank you.
very beautiful. Thank you. Michigan for Stringer.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yes. He's a veteran, very good man.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Karim bhai,
All right.
good.
Okay.
He has another meeting.
Good evening. I know Scott is leave another. He granted us more than 1 hour. First of all, thank you very much, Scott, for your time today.
Of course.
We are so pleased and happy and so proud having you in our National Council meeting today. So, in advance, congratulations in your journey. And with that, ASAAL will be a part of every moment. ASAAL will be with you in this part. So let me ask you a question directly. I know you answered that you recovered millions of dollars from waste theft and distributed to those funds to the people who the money was stolen. And thank you very much from South Asian and minority groups, because most of those victims are minority people. Your hard work well recognized in our community, around the level leaders, union community, not only the New York City only, is nationwide. We know what you have done. We know what you can do. As we discussed earlier in a private setting, but I will reiterate my question to you again today, that, ASAAL was a vital part of this wage hike movement in New York. As a result of unions and ASAAL's movement, now we are up to $15 minimum wage, minimum hourly wage. However, no matter how you are fighting with those government contractors and other consultants against the waste theft, still waste theft is there. The core intent to raise the height is to elevate those people from poverty people working 40 hours, still they are on welfare. And this welfare fund is coming from the taxpayers fund. You know better than anybody else. Still our community minority in New York City, hundreds and hundreds of people are being paid somewhere between $3 to $7 an hour, and they are depending on public funded welfare program. So it's just conflicting. To my question that I put it together before and I'm reiterating again, what you can do to enforce the minimum wage law in New York City. So millions of people will be uplifted and the small business will be in compliance and city, state, and federal governments will get the tax pay from the payroll.
So very simple.
Thank you.
Very simple. I enforced the prevailing wage in the city for 7.5 years.
Yep.
I returned millions of dollars to people. I debarred a record 70 contractors. As mayor, I'm going to control the Department of Consumer Affairs that's responsible for these kind of violations. We're going to get other agencies involved. I'm not going to let people wages be taken away because they may be South Asian, they may be immigrant, they may be people who just don't have resources and low wage jobs. I'm not going to do that. People are going to be paid the wage that's the law. And when they're not, whether I'm controller or mayor, I'm going to enforce that law. You have my promise.
Thank you. Yes, we discussed privately, but I'm not going to go that far. Before I let you go, as you know, ASAAL has 6 chapters in New York City. The city, you will be the next mayor.
Thank you.
It is my gut feeling. I said it repeatedly. And our 6 chapters has hundreds of oil-trained volunteers, food soldiers. Their leaders are here. One of the leaders is Dr. Mujibur Rahman. From Queens, we have Nurul Islam. And from every chapter here. And they have hundreds of volunteers. They will work under the ASAAL National Command. And they will reach out to the mosques, mandir, church, synagogue, every temples, every community civic associations. And they will be standing on every corner of the city with your flyer palm cards, and we will reach out to do everything. You have heard that we have 8 state chapters, outer state chapters here now today. They will be helping with telephone banking. They will be helping with your digital media campaign because they are well trained. Every chapter is so resourceful, so well trained because they have done a tremendous job in last national election, November 3rd election.
Yes.
Before that, we all were fighting for census, and our people during this pandemic are in the field, in the neighborhood. They are doing. So I am so confident that all the supports with ASAAL endorsement, ASAAL support will come, that you are not only depending on New York City chapters, you have other chapter leaders and they will volunteers. They will send volunteers, foot soldiers from Virginia, Maryland, Washington, D.C., Michigan, and Albany. All those chapters will come, Florida, and they will be at your disposal to support your candidacy, support to win this journey. Mark Mesbaudin, please.
Yes, no, I think everything has been said, and there are a few more questions, so we will not go for that today. Maria, I know you mentioned to me a few times already to let him go, but I think it will be very important that after hearing all this, Scott, you take 1 minute or 2 minutes to conclude and take your last, saying to us, and we know what we have asked. We know what we are so honored and proud that you are here today and you gave your time. Thank you.
Well, first of all, I have enjoyed every minute of being with you tonight. This is not just coming to an organization. This is coming to so many friends over the years, more years than we all want to admit. And I just want to say, if I'm fortunate to have the support of this organization, this national organization, I know what it means. This is not just an endorsement by mouth. I know that my campaign is excited to work with you in the next 4 months to elect the next mayor and then govern with you. But this is going to be a great campaign. We got a lot of candidates running. This endorsement, everybody wants it, but I need it. And if I've earned it, I look forward to working with you on the streets, wherever this takes us. And then we win we will build a better city together. Thank you for the wonderful questions. It's so clear whether you live in Michigan or Florida or New York City, Queens or Brooklyn, Staten Island, Bronx or Manhattan, we love our city and we're going to build our city back together. There's nothing more important for all of us. And I'm so glad, Mom, to have this opportunity. Thank you, my friends, and to better days.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Please put your hands together.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ma'am.
It's inspirational.
And Karim
We are
bhai,
with you.
very
Thank
good
you.
meeting.
Thank you, Virginia.
Yes. So, yes,
Thank you,
Maria,
Scott.
thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
so
We'll be in
much,
touch.
Virginia.
Thank you, everybody.
Congratulations in advance from Washington, D.C.
Virginia is with you. We'll be working.
I love this. I'm at a national convention in Virginia. This
We're
is
sending
great.
you trained volunteers.
We are going to continue.
Thank
We are
you.
going to continue. Stay on the line, please.
All right.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so
Maria,
much.
good to see you.
Thank you.
So definitely they have been gone. I know some of you have raised your hand and rightfully so. You know, it is always important that when you came to know that today is the, you know, we'll do this and we'll have some question answer. Many more time it will happen in the future. I want you to contact me before. Send an email, text us that I have a question and here is the question. If those questions are the relevant related questions,
Please keep
definitely,
yourself muted.
you know, time is always very, very precise and concise and to the point. He came for 22 minutes. We introduced ourselves. I think that is too much time taking away from our questions and answers and hearing from him. So why? Because Korimbai has to say 20 times, are you there? He's there, or is he? When he's giving the name, then you are coming 3 seconds, 10 seconds later. So this is a kind of training that we are going through. What is important that we appreciate that you came. And now with that, every meeting we do, I think we should learn and we should implement what we learn. Because look, that is the going. There is nothing. You don't have to go to a rally. You don't have to go have a meeting. You don't have to have a fight in a concise and precise room. All you have to do nowadays on Zoom or you know, Ring Central or other means to do this meeting. So this is the future of the movement that we are in. And you know, our movement with all these 15 chapters people here indicating to you that all of you can make another chapter, which will be the 30 chapter. We know it is possible, but why we are not doing that so rapidly? Because we are learning. It is a growing pain. That is why when we come to a meeting like this, sometimes we make mistakes, sometimes we could not do everybody, we cannot accommodate everybody. When we give you a question, you change that question to your own question, that's not a bad thing. But you need to think what the question main idea was. So you don't create a question that is not helping us, you know. And also never say that I think you guys said that I work here and you are now asking about that. I am this title and I am working for that. Then the value of that question becomes, you know,
personal,
undefined and personal. So this is why we need to be, you know, universally ask the questions. You know the problem you are suffering or you are observing every day. So which is a very good thing. I think this was a very good session today. So I want you to raise your hand and start talking about your feelings. What do you think? Most of you know other candidates, those who especially lives in the city. So that is what we want to know. And then we go from here, because our goal is to concentrate from the beginning. You know, those who come at the middle, they stay in the middle. And by the time the top gets and the bottom shouts, middle left over. So that is why we thought that let us be on the top. So that when things happens, we will be the part of the distribution. You know, when you get a cake, a pie, you divide them into different pieces. If you are not there from the beginning, you will not be there when things are happening. And we have been doing this for a long time. We have seen many more election before us, many more mayor, many more.
We should start allowing our
yes, that is what I'm. So I'm just giving some introduction now. If a question you have that is we don't have an answer, we will get back to the campaign, we'll bring it back to you. If you have a comment that is you want to say your own opinion, that's fine too. Okay, go ahead. So I am now starting from the top. I don't know. I think I see Dr. Mujibur Rahman first. Dr. Mujib bhai, go ahead.
হাসান আলী ভাই একটু অপেক্ষা করেন প্লিজ।
Yes.
জি মজিব ভাই আপনার কথা বলেন।
Well, my issue is that we are going through a very important thing. ASAAL came to a place now which is going to play a vital role in this country's political arena, especially New York City and major city where our community lives. With that vision that Mabbai has, and with Mabbai, Karim Bhai, and all of us, I think we can bring this ASAAL in some really nice place. So I think our planning has to be a little bit more organized, so that when we are in this kind of Zoom meeting, we maintain a decorum, we follow the rules and regulation, and we show to this candidate that how professional we are, so that when we say something, they believe us that we are that kind of organization that we can deliver. So
very good, very good.
So it's very important because as an observer, when you watch a TV show and if you see that the people are talking over each other, then you turn off and you go to something else. So when we talk, we also have to think that somebody is also watching us. So hopefully in future, we'll try to be, make sure that we become more and more professional, and we'll be there. I'm telling honestly, I was telling Mabbai the other than Karim Bhai that in the last few years that I'm being with this organization, it came a long way, and we have a lot of good people now. They are bringing this organization to a very different level, and we have to just do a little bit of fine tuning, and we'll be fine. Thank you.
Yes. I think overall we did very well today. I think he is very impressed. Of course, the time that we took during the introduction is a time we need to better manage. I really appreciate everybody did their part, and even those questions came very to the point, community related. Okay, with that note, Sharabuddin Babu Bhai, you want to say something? Yes, please.
I completely agree with Mr. Mujibur, Dr. Mujibur Rahman. He said very, very well said now that we have, you both are president and secretary, you guys are very organized. But the thing is, can we ask a job from our platform, number one? This disturbed me as well. If you're an ASAAL member and asking a job before he elected, that's a red flag.
Exactly.
And also, as an ASAAL, if you're not a good speaker, if you don't know the mainstream politics, being a good leader, being a good worker, but you cannot ask some question that clouds every messages.
Exactly.
So picks, and my suggestion to our leaders, you guys are very well organized. Today's meeting was great. He spoke very well, especially the girls. I can say all girls spoke very well today. And pick speakers who can deliver a strong message, and we can get something out of it for our community. Thank you. That's all. It was outstanding and meeting, and we will provide for this Scott. He's a handsome, smart guy. So we'll provide. He has a knowledge. So far, I learned. I'm a state senate candidate. I can tell by saying body language. He was answering every question very well.
Sure.
All politicians cannot make all answers in action. I know that. But from U.S. Capitol Chapter, Maryland, Florida, we will provide you guys, Mr. Muff and Mr. Karim. Trained volunteer will support you there.
No, exactly. And he has that feeling. He left with that. Michigan for Scott Stringer. This is what it means. I think he enjoyed that part. He enjoyed that. And we also, by you all coming from other chapters, has proven that we are a family. So when a family is calling, whether it is calling from Virginia, Washington, D.C., Georgia, during this a special 2 senator election, we all are shooting for Georgia. So, this is a very good thing. I think
On
you
top
are
of
right.
all, Mr. President, we can do some fundraising with the collaboration of ASAAL National Council.
Yes, we spoke with, he also expect that. Any mayoral candidate will always expect that. So we are coming there. Now I have Noor Faisal, I think from Bronx. Noor, you have a question or comments?
Yeah, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk. I wish I could have raised my hand earlier so I could ask about the homeless shelter that was placed in Parkchester. Parkchester is a very big community in the Bronx, you know that, and they are placing homeless shelter where the sex offenders will live. And I'll take a part of the protest. I joined the protest too. I had a question regarding to that because in Parkchester we have 11,000 units, and that's been 11,000 family lives here. And what was his opinion about it? And I also had a question regarding to Parkchester South and North Condominium. In this pandemic, even the government and everybody was so polite and trying to help people. Parkchester raised their maintenance charge. So I was thinking to ask him this question, like, what do you feel about this kind of hope? The other thing I see, I think it's you guys are doing a very good job. I don't know everybody's name in terms of hosting the meeting. I also believe that if you give us little chance in the beginning, I don't mean in the meeting time, I mean before the meeting, we can send our question to you guys. So we have 100 participants. Maybe 50 of question is going to eliminate because 2 or 3 person going to have same question. So if you guys give us a chance before a platform where we can email our question to you guys, and then you say, okay, this question is valid, so we have to ask this question. So maybe it's not my question, but we can, find out the right question to ask to the mayor. And
let me start with, I think you have given three
I am agree with this one.
Yeah.
No.
So
and
I think
also not only your leadership, Ms. Babai, I see all the leaders and from all community. I just be a member for last 2 years, and I feel encouraged seeing all these leaders and their different mood, different tones, and all of us. And I want to go because we invested 2.5 hours, and at the end, I request you to keep me and my family in your prayers. And thank you so much. And assalamu alaikum.
Yes, Nurbhai, I want you to hear because you put some issues which is very important for every other. So I know you very well because I met you face to face. I think that the question that you asked from that time, I always wanted to talk to you, and I have been sending now. If you guys just say this notion that we should have given you more time to give us a question and we could have, look, ASAAL, this is what we do from day one. The last 2008 until today, 2021, we are giving that opportunity. Even if you have some questions now comes, just send ASAAL08, asaalnational@gmail.com. Very easy. This is first part. Second part is about the shelter and the homelessness. There are 60,000 people are homeless in the city of New York. I asked him that question because we just screened mayoral candidates in my union, and this was the question I brought to their attention. The first thing is that when de Blasio took over, city used to spend $1.7 billion for shelter in the hotels. Today, they are spending $3.4 billion, with which they can easily build 300,000 units of apartments building, but they are not doing that. So when we asked Scott at that time, it was last week, in fact, he said that the days of paying to the hotel for homeless people is over the day I come into, because goal will be to rehabilitate these people, and $3.4 billion is a lot of money. Many similar cities does not have even that budget. So I think the future is bright. As far we are concerned, as you have seen, we are 15 chapters here. We are from 80 states, and other 6-7 states is waiting. It is only me and Karim are poor, both has to work for our living. Otherwise, we would have brought those 7 states in the meantime. but we are going to bring in them in the future. If you know anybody in anywhere in America and Canada, please let us know. We have chapters already without being there in Bangladesh, in Malaysia, and what is, Singapore, Malaysia and Singapore, and we are in the formation chapter in Maldives. So it is going to grow. You know why? Because the work that we do, it is so pure. When you come to a meeting, when you go back, you will take a feelings from you. I strongly believe that this is the place finally I'm going to be part of. And I think you can contribute a lot, and your contribution is the one we are looking. And definitely, still you can send any question that you have, because when we do, Korimbai, in fact, originally distributes it. We, do the screening. We have a committee of 16 people who does the screening for all the position that comes out. And there is a prescribed questions made by ASAAL related to the community. There are 25 questions. We always ask those questions, permutation, combination, different way. And I think if you have a question that is not there, we can add that question in the future. And with that note, stay safe and stay.
No, Mabai, thank you for saying Faisal Bhai said we need to allow our chapter leaders to speak. We need to continue.
Yes. Yeah. Next is Muhammad Chowdhury, Manhattan.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Faisal.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, everybody. Thanks everybody to give me opportunity to speak. I think we need to manage the time introducing everybody. Is this important to introduce everybody in the meeting like this? Because in the Zoom meeting, if everybody put their designation, like, who they are, and the candidate can see it, and all of our member can see it, who they are, like, what is their position in the ASAAL. Because I think this is very important. We bringing guests, and their time is very precious. And if it's our community, we can stay longer, but we cannot hold them longer. So I think we should minimize introducing ourselves, then asking questions, and whatever is our goal is to figure out what they can do for us. So I think we should manage our time better and give them respect. And also I agree with Mr. Noor. If anybody have any question, they can send it to the ASAAL committee, and they can review it. Is this can present it? If they can, if it's presentable, then we can communicate to the person to ask the questions. So in this way, we can screen, and we're not going to have any unwanted question asking our candidates.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
Chaudhary.
very, very important. I think those who are here, you may not have met Muhammad Chowdhury recently. He's from the beginning. He's the president of Manhattan chapter, and also a computer programmer with the City University of New York. But very busy guy. I am very happy that he's here today. And definitely we will do introduction part. Definitely we are repeatedly saying that it took 22, 23 minutes. We are going to do, as I think you said it, as you come, you put your name and your title and or chapter, then it is done. I think because with this, we have over 87 people joined at one time. So if we continue to do this, it will be too much. I think
on and off, more than 100 people came in. On and off, more than 100 people came in today.
Yeah, I know. So
Mabai, I think we will talk about it, how we can change this thing. Both proposals are very right, and we will work on it. We're glad that your position, you expressing this thing, and we are improving. Mabai, few other people raise their hand. If you can, or you want me to call?
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
I will lower hand from Sharapat Bhai. He did his part. I hope.
I think Mobile Guru is Jed. Is it Jed? Jed, you want to say something?
Yes. Very brief as usual. I thought it was an excellent meeting. Of course, it's extremely difficult to make a meeting as complicated as this perfect, but it was good. It was impressive. We can always work on improving it. I mean, there's always room for improvement. But so it was an excellent meeting. Very well done by President Udeed and Vice President Chowdhury. Very well done. But my main point is that we did a great meeting. We did a great interview. Now to elect Scott Stringer. And it won't be easy. It won't be easy, but it can be done. We have to put boots on the ground, knock on doors. ASAAL has to have a tremendous ground game. We did the talk. Now we got to walk the walk. We've got to have a tremendous ground game on election day, on nomination day, to get out the vote. And Scott Stringer will have great appreciation when we show him our ground game and that we can produce votes on the crucial days to get him elected. Because it's one thing to endorse, which is important, but the ground game is even more important. And if we can do that, Scott Stringer will owe us a lot, and he will do a lot for the South Asian community. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Jackie
Aman Hassan, Manik Bhai.
Jackie.
Manik Bhai, I know you wanted to ask a question there, but we could not cover. But give me the question. We are going to send it to him in case it has not been answered. Manik Bhai, unmute.
You hear me now?
Yes.
My question was for Mr. Stinger, but I know him long time since I am involved in ASAAL. But in the beginning, he's on the power too in the New York City. When Mr. Blasio elected and his promise was, so he make it 250,000 affordable housing for the homeless people is not done yet. The homeless people living in the, what he call the expensive hotel, and how much they spend it, I don't know. That's not going to happen. And
3.4 billion.
As a community member, I'm the president of Greater Noakhali Society. We have from March, too many people died. Still today we have a burial in Noakhali people, 3 people die. We have arrangement for the burial, but we don't get any help from the city at all. For even the city cannot help themselves too. City still have a 565 dead body in Brooklyn Sunset Park in the refrigerator since the pandemic start from the March. They don't make those people burial. They're in the refrigerator still on the track, Brooklyn Sunset Park over there, the industrial place. So we don't get any help as a community from the city. Even they cannot help themselves, but he is in the Stinger in the administration now. He said, I recover the money from the contractor. Okay, that's he did a good job for the employee. But why he watching those things? This is not in his watch to bury those people who died since in the March. The dead body is still here.
Yes,
and some other. Huh?
Yeah, that's a big point.
That's not his responsibility.
No, I think there is a department for that. He can only audit. But I don't think anybody has brought that to his attention. I think we can mention that, as you are saying, because they could not identify city. By the city could not identify those 500 or 600 dead body yet. That is why they're not burying them. I think that might be the reason.
No, I think it changed. They decided to bury them.
No, they have in the truck. They're saying the news. I'm not talking from me. I see in the news. That's on the newspaper that they have a 565 body in the Brooklyn Sunset Park industrial place on the truck. But that's the city responsible to bury them. If they're talking about the human rights, so they have to do that. And whatever we do as a community organization,
you guys did better than them. That I know.
Okay, Manik
Bhai, the homeless
territory,
the hotel, how much money? I am a contractor. I know about the real estate and the New York City. How much money? Where the money go? City money. There's $1 billion spent. Where the money go? Money wasted. No go.
They're spending over $3 billion for nothing. We know that. Now, I think we have.
Thank you very much.
We have
some chance to talk.
Yeah.
But
let us. I think we want to bring someone who came from
Texas. We have a person from Texas. Mr. Jahidul Islam, are you there? Kazi Jahidul Islam? Please take 30 seconds. Kazi Jahidul Islam, unmute and introduce yourself from Texas. Okay. Our Zakir Hussain, President, Virginia chapter, you raise your hand. Zakir Bhai?
Yes, thank you so
Go
much.
ahead.
Thank you so much. Mr. President and Mr. Secretary, thank you so much. Of you, people like me, people like us, nationwide, we are connected. And you brought those people to a point where we can talk like a politics. We can speak, we can bring, we can work for the campaign to elect someone. Anyhow, we speak a lot, but in the very beginning, our secretary told so many times, housekeeping rules. But I think what is lacking here, I don't have the education to myself. But I need to educate myself. Meaning, statement was given very clearly. If I have not mistaken, number one, name, your name, and chapter. That's all. So in between, we talk loud. So too many things. We did not waste our time for this or that. We wasted time because of people like me. Instead of saying my name and chapter, we have said so many other things. Number two, and it was also in the housekeeping rules. So I have to appreciate Mr. Secretary and Mr. President. Again, I need to educate myself. What is it? During the question, we spend more than 90% of our time to bring the history instead of asking the question. Question was less than 10 seconds. History behind the scene was more than 90%. Why? Yeah. To learn that. We need to educate ourselves. Yes, even we introduce ourselves, we'll be saving time. I don't maintain the agenda, I maintain action item. I have 3 action items and I follow and I mean the word comes out of my mouth. Number 1, I have my action items for the state of Virginia. I have action item for the community and my action item for the election today that we have endorsed for New Year. Number 1, the state of Virginia had a meeting yesterday, monthly meeting. We came up with a couple agenda action item. We'll be reaching out statewide to build a relationship with South Asian communities. For your information, state of Virginia community has diverse, not only Bangladeshi, it has other nationals as well in our community, for your note. Number 2, we have a voter registration plan. We'll be reaching out statewide. Second, we had an agenda yesterday. We'll be helping out for the immigration. Second, we'll be helping out our community for the DMB learners permit. Second, our election item plans, our action items. We have so many friends and families in New York. 35 plus people from the state of Virginia, from the Virginia chapter, will be reaching out through the messaging, text messaging, social media, phone banking, and absolutely, we know we are all, most of them are Bangladeshi. You, President and Secretary, you know what is our family relationship, what is our friend relationship, how we live each other. So reaching out doesn't have to be from New York, nationwide. And you have spoken very clearly. I highly appreciate and I salute both of you from my heart. Second, our Virginia chapter volunteers will be doing phone banking, will be doing emailing, will be doing text messaging. Coming to the third action item from Virginia chapter, Virginia ASAAL chapter with the cooperation of data group. Number 1, we'll be doing pre-computer training with the cooperation of data group. Second, we'll be providing scholarship. I did not have a chance. I would like to speak with you leaders, how we can do it. The scholarship would be under the name of ASAAL. If that is possible, with that will include free training for anybody, South Asians. And if that is recommended, that should be recommended by the President and by the Mr. Secretary. Third, we'll be doing job seminar with the cooperation of data group, and we'll be doing the job placement. Especially, we'll be helping promote.
Mr. Chairman, are we speaking ASAAL or are we advertising somebody else?
Okay, okay. Babubhai, let him finish. Babubhai, let him
I object.
Please
And
let
I
him.
would
Please,
I
please
would
let
like
him finish.
to.
Okay?
I would like to.
No,
I
no,
would like to bring this
please,
issue.
National
I would
Vice
like to
President.
bring this issue to
This is bullshit
President and
advertising
Secretary.
stuff.
This is not
Interrupting in the middle
courteous
of someone.
talk.
Yeah, let me do this. I am muted everybody. I am now talking. I think this is, in fact, this is not the format where you announce your chapter, future, and program and plan. We will be in touch with you, and you should be in touch with us. Today, we had just did this, meet, greet, and talk. So we want to discuss that part in next another 15 minutes, and then we'll be closing. But in the meantime, some of you already suggested that how we can improve. And I am taking those points very seriously, very minutely, and we're going to follow wherever possible to implement those. At the same time, when we are discussing this, you in your chapter can also make some improvements with the discussion that we are having. So definitely, it is not that we don't want to hear you. We want to hear you. You just call us later. Even if we can be in your meeting always, in the chapter meetings, we want you to inform us. Whoever can join, because when we join you, maybe you are doing something that we can learn and we can implement that later. And then also other chapter presidents, when you invite them, they will learn something. But we tell you, when we go there, we don't want to speak until you permits us to speak, because that is your meeting, you are running, you are doing the program that you want to complete it, that meeting. Other chapter presidents will only come to listen, learn, and go back and to implement it. So I think that is the best way to go. I really appreciate everybody who gave some thoughts, everyone who spoke now. With that
one
note,
more person from Brooklyn, Mr. Pinto, Jahid Pinto. He just joined again. He was waiting to speak. He's a great leader from Brooklyn chapter. Pinto, why please speak? Less than 1 minute, please.
He never comes. He came today. Let us see.
Pinto, are you there? Unmute yourself. I saw you came in. I just admitted you.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Please speak up. 1 minute. Less than 1 minute. We have many other senior leaders waiting.
All right. Good evening. Thank you, our Brooklyn chapter president. Give me a chance for speech. And thank you, our ASAAL founder president, Mr. Mahmoud Bauddin, and successful secretary, Karim Chaudhary. I'm going to tell you something. I'm not going to take a long time. We are ready. Our volunteer is fully ready to work for the pandemic. So we did action, and we're going to do the action, and we did a permission from our Brooklyn chapter president and also our national president, and also our election is coming, the mayor election. We're going to support our president, Mayor, Mr. Scott. So we need to work our Brooklyn fully about him. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Dr. Mujibur Rahman Bhai, will you kindly tell that you have a meeting coming Saturday or Sunday? Is it, you want to announce it? Mujib Bhai, are you there? Khairul, are you there? Oh, Brooklyn
Okay, let me announce it. Let me announce it then.
Yeah, please.
Next Sunday, the 14th of February, Brooklyn chapters are inviting you. Brooklyn chapter is inviting you to join from 7 p.m. I think. We will have a great meeting in Brooklyn chapter. They are organizing very well, and now the Brooklyn chapter is one of the very vibrant chapter. So I'm inviting you all, since Mr. President is not here, Secretary is not responding. If you can please mark your calendar, we will send you the Zoom link with agenda and everything, talking points. I want if you can manage your time, please join next Sunday at 7 p.m. Scott Stringer will be there, hopefully, and many other elected officials will be there. We are hoping 10 plus elected officials in that meeting. Thank you. Please try to join it. Mark your calendar next Sunday, 7 p.m. Mabbai, go ahead.
I think
Hasan Ali Bhai ke ekটু দিয়ে. Hasan Ali Bhai is waiting for
no,
long
no, yeah, we'll give him. Yeah, our Michigan chapter secretary, Minhaj Russell Chowdhury is there. Minhaj Bhai, are you there?
Assalamu alaikum. Yes.
Ji, bolen.
Nice to see you, Minhaj Bhai. Go ahead. 1 minute.
Thank you. Yes. I needed the 30 seconds. Actually, thank you everybody. And his good news is thank you, Mahmoud Bhai and Karim Bhai, and also our President, Dr. Rabbi Alam. And our good news is tomorrow we have a get together in a restaurant. And of course, it's a social distance mask requirement here. And we are actually, our aim and plan is how can I work with just New York election, because there is the second largest Bengali community in Michigan right now.
Yes.
After New York, second largest community is Michigan, and we are living in the core of the Bengalis communities. City's name is Hamtramck. So tomorrow we have a very important meeting and get together. How can improve our chapter, and also how can work our next New York City election. We are working for the city mayor. So I think it's coming a very good idea in this time, because a lot of people coming and they advise how can work is the New York election from the Michigan. And we are invited a lot of people tomorrow evening after evening, inshallah. So it's coming as very good result tomorrow.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Minhaj Russell Bhai. Be safe, stay healthy, as you said, safe distance. ASAAL National does not encourage to be a physical meeting. I spoke with Dr. Rabbi Alam, your president, and I raised that concern as well, because what happening in our Georgia chapter, that during the election campaign, some of our people got infected. So be careful, please. Maintain the social distance, wear masks.
Right. Yes.
Mabbai, anybody else from our chapter, or I would like to allow our light member Hasan Ali Bhai?
Yeah, bring Hasan Ali Bhai. I think
Hasan Ali Bhai, please unmute yourself. I'm so sorry. I am unmuting you. Okay, I did. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
I'm sorry, Hasan Ali Bhai. My apology. You waited a long time.
Go ahead.
আমি ন্যাশনাল প্রেসিডেন্ট মাহফুজ সাউদ্দিন এবং করিম সাহেবের উদ্দেশ্যে আমি একটা কি করতে চাই। আমি মিস বাবার জানা আছে 89 সাল থেকে গত 32 বছরের অভিজ্ঞতায় বলতেছি, মেয়র ডিঙ্কিন্সের সময় থেকে আমেরিকায় বা মেয়রের ইলেকশনে মানি টক, আমরা যতই দাবি বলি না কেন, আমরা যদি এই মেয়র প্রার্থীর জন্য 100,000 বা $250,000 যদি রেজ করতে পারি সাউথ এশিয়ানের পক্ষ থেকে, তাহলে আমরা যে দাবি করব সব পাবো। কারণ হলো যারা বেশি পয়সা দেয় তাদের এই ট্রানজিশন টিমে নেওয়া হয়, আর এই টিমই ঠিক করে কে ডেপুটি মেয়র হবে, কে কমিশনার হবে। অথবা শুনেন, অথবা আপনি বললেন এই সে, এর অর্থ নাথিং। আপনি যদি পয়সা কম দেন ট্রানজিশন টিমে নেওয়া হবে না, শেষে দেখবেন জিরো। আর আমাদের বাংলাদেশি আমেরিকানি দেখেন যত ডাক্তার ইঞ্জিনিয়ার আছেন, পাকিস্তানি, ইন্ডিয়ান আর অন্যান্য নেপালি, আমরা যদি মনে করেন একটা বড় ফান্ড দিতে পারি, কিভাবে ফান্ড কি করা যায়, মুজিবুর রহমান সাহেব আছেন, উনাকে দায়িত্ব দেওয়া হোক, উনি ডাক্তারদেরকে নিয়ে আসেন, তারপরে ডেন্টিস্ট বিল্লা ভাইকে দায়িত্ব দেওয়া হোক, ডেন্টিস্ট ফার্মাসিস্টদেরকে দায়িত্ব দেওয়া হোক, তারপরে ইঞ্জিনিয়ারদেরকে আমরা সবচেয়ে বড় ইম্পর্টেন্ট ফান্ড দেওয়া। আমি সবাইকেই বলবো, এরপরে মনে করেন নিউ ইয়র্কে তো 6টা চ্যাপ্টার, প্রত্যেক 4 চ্যাপ্টার থেকে আমরা ফান্ড আদায় করতে হবে। আর বাইরে যে 8টা চ্যাপ্টার আছে, ওরাও যাদের গ্রিন কার্ড আছে অথবা মনে করেন এই যারা সিটিজেন, উভয়ই ফান্ড দিতে পারেন, যার সামর্থ্য অনুযায়ী। ফান্ডটা ইম্পর্টেন্ট। $25, $50, $100, $500, $1000 যেভাবে পারেন। আমি বেশি কথা বলতে চাচ্ছি না। ফান্ড ইজ মোস্ট ইম্পর্টেন্ট থিং, সবার উদ্দেশ্যে আমি বলতেছি।
থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ। থ্যাংক ইউ।
আপনারা করিম ভাই এবং মিসবা ভাইকে বললাম আমি, আপনারা প্রফেশনালদেরকে, আমাদের 5000 ইঞ্জিনিয়ার আজকে আমেরিকায়, 2000 ডাক্তার, 1000 ফার্মাসিস্ট, 30,000 বাড়ির মালিক, আমরা ধনী লোকদেরকে আনতে হবে, শুধু বাংলাদেশি নয়, পাকিস্তানি, ইন্ডিয়ান এবং অন্যান্য দেশি। থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ আমাকে সুযোগ করে দেওয়ার জন্য।
অনেক সুন্দর গুরুত্বপূর্ণ বক্তব্য দিচ্ছেন হাসান ভাই। অলওয়েজ ইউ আর আওয়ার লাইফ মেম্বার, ইউ আর দ্য অ্যাডভাইজার, you will be a part of our journey. We need your advice and wisdom to get our success.
I just want to say you something. Hassan Bhai is a very shy guy. But in 1989, I went to City Hall for a news conference, to join the news conference. And then I was looking for everybody's face. A lot of union members are there, lot of African American, lot of Latinos, lot of everybody, except no South Asian. So when I was, being there, handshaking with everybody, and Lord behold, so I thought that let me handshake every line, at least one or two, so that they know there is a guy who looks like South Asian or brown guy will be here in the future. So that was 1989. After a few steps, I saw this man, Hassan Ali, on that steps. So I said, oh my God, I am not alone. There is another guy, not only South Asian, he's also from Bangladesh. So that way we became friends 30 years ago. And then, of course, if you know, David Dickens is the first mayor who did the 3 days alternate parking during Eid, Eid al-Adha, Eid al-Fitr, both Eid in New York City, 3 days of celebration. Alternative parking means you can park anywhere you want, free. And then he promised us he's going to do Eid holiday. Unfortunately, in 1993, he lost. He was one-term mayor, and he died 2 months ago, in fact, very close with me. So anyway, Hassan Ali is that. That guy knows last 36 years of his struggle. He knows whatever you do, whatever the promise he made, whatever, whether you want to be a commissioner or not, it depends on not only volunteerism, money is the key. And we have planned for that. So today at this committee, I'm going to announce, it is not for Scott, it is for the fundraising committee. That is what we decide first. So Dr. Mujibur Rahman, I think Hassan Ali mentioned that doctor can do better. So Dr. Mujibur Rahman is the chair. And we, presidents, national president, national secretary, and including all 15 chapter president are co-chairs.
Very good. I support this one. We talk
Dr.
about
Mujibur Rahman is the chair. I myself is the co-chair. Karim Chaudhary is the co-chair. And all other 15 chapter presidents are co-chair.
Mesbah Bhai,
Yes.
Thank you. So this is, we have the executive member. I like to bring that motion that is suggested by our national president, that our Mujibur Rahman Bhai should be taking the lead on our fundraising committee as the chairman, along with the national president, Mesbauddin, and our general secretary, Muhammad Karim, including all the chapters president should be the co-chairs in that committee.
Plus all the executive board members of the chapters and national committee, including all vice president, which is very common, will be the member of that committee. So that means we all are included in some way or other.
So thank you. So let me add that to the motion, that also all the chapters, executive members, they will be also part of that, and all the national vice president should be the part of that committee of that fundraising and campaign. The motion is on the board.
Do I have a second?
Yes, Mohammed Chaudhary, seconded.
Okay.
I second.
Yes, very good.
I second it too.
Oh, severally seconded. I think this is a very good idea.
So thank you. So let me, so my point is here. So the motion was there, it was seconded by our national secretary, general secretary, Muhammad Abdul Karim. And is there any discussion needed? If not needed, I would love to see that everybody would support this.
Yeah.
Let's continue that we can approve this motion. Those who support it say aye.
Aye.
Yes, yes,
Aye.
the court said aye. Now, I want to
Thank
bring
you.
you a guest, the first guy who always with ASAAL, he comes every convention, but I think last two he missed. Attorney Perry Silver.
Oh my God.
Attorney Perry
Unmute
Silver,
yourself.
you are open. Unmute and say a few words, your experience here today. I see you are here for last an hour or so.
Unmute yourself. Mr. Silver, unmute yourself. Perry Silver, unmute yourself. You are talking, you are not unmuted. Unmute yourself. Thank you.
Yes, now you can talk. We can hear you.
I was a little late getting to the program, but I saw enough of it to know that it was very constructive, and you know this is a very good organization, and you really have to have your footprint in the politics. And I think that a program like this impresses, the candidates, of your presence and what you're doing to them. And, whether it's Scott Stringer or somebody else who's going to win, the organization wants to have a seat at the table, when the new mayor is there. And, it's very important that we turn certain things around. There's going to be daunting challenges facing the new mayor, one of which is having no money, one of which is rampant crime, one of which is that the mass transit system is a total mess, and I wouldn't even take the subways, nor have any of my family or anybody else take a subway. It's horribly dangerous. So anybody who takes over as mayor is going to have huge challenges, much more so than anybody in our recent memory. So the programs and the presence of this organization is doubly important. And I hope that you continue doing what you've always done.
Really appreciate Mr. Barry Silver. I saw you many times at our convention. You always patronize us. Definitely, this election, you are also a citizen, a voter. We need you with us, and we'll see how we can make this happen. Previously, whatever we endorsed, we did very well. We want to continue that trend. Let us see how it works. With that note, Korimbai, do you have anybody else? Is that our
I wanted to say something.
Who is this? Nurul Bhai. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. I wanted to know, are you going to bring more candidate or this is it?
No, more candidates means the suggestion has to come from you. I mean, you mean those who are here.
Okay, what I have seen, how ASAAL work, we do the screening, we talk to different candidates, then finally we decide with the voting who we're going to endorse. But today we talk only with Mr. Scott. He is a very potential candidate. We all love him. He has good connection with ASAAL, and we would love to endorse him. But I just want to know the way ASAAL has been working.
Yes.
Are you going to screen, talking to more candidates? I just want to know.
No, just one second. This program is going live on the TV and it is on broadcasting. So point of business should be very careful and denoted, Mr. President and General Secretary.
Yes. No, I do. I am saying that. So we did not say this is the end of the conversation.
Okay.
This is the beginning of the mayoral conversation. Now, if you think we should also, you means those who are present here today, there are nearly 20 people are running. If you think there is some prospective candidate that can win, can do well, suggest us the name. in the coming days, we are going to try to bring them. In fact, we indeed has spoken with few of them and invited them to give us a date, a time, a frame of their convenience. We're still waiting to get those dates. One of them, in fact, we told them recently, not recently, 2 weeks ago, in fact, that since he's the, in charge of such a big borough, what he has done so far as for the distribution of the mask and sanitizer, so on and so forth. And we told him to contact a few members in that area. He has yet to do that. So all these things are the reason why we could not bring more people in one day. But in next day, tomorrow, if more people calls us, more people are interested to us to go through them, we will definitely go through, because this is what we do every day. Okay,
Mr. President, I have a point of business.
A lot of other candidates is going to come talk to us. That's what I want to do. If anyone want to contact us, we're gonna let them welcome or no?
Yes, we will. We will.
Do you have a chance to talk to Mr. Ray McGuire?
Ray McGuire?
This is the only candidate who is not accepting the matching fund and $7 million. He refused to accept $7 million. He said he will do the election with his own money, like Michael Bloomberg.
Yeah.
Do you know that?
Unmute yourself.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I know. I met him personally. I spoke to him because he was the kind of one of the senior vice president of Citibank for many, many years. He has a lot of money of his own. Wall Street has given him tons, and they are going to give him more tons.
Right.
So that Bloomberg came in the city with $4 billion. But he left the city with $34 billion, richer. And then, of course, for 5 years of his 12 years, he did not even talk to the union to give a contract. So I think I am afraid of people, those who are similar to Bloomberg.
Right.
And also, he's supposed to be 2 terms. He twisted. All the city council member gave them money for their campaign, and they voted for a 3rd term. And he did that, those kind of things. But anyway, he will not be a good example. But if you want to talk to McGuire or anybody else that you think they're interested to talk to ASAAL, we are welcoming you, no problem.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to know.
Sure.
মেজবা ভাই, আমাদের টেক্সাসের মিস্টার কাজী জাহিদুল ইসলাম মিলন ভাই উনি আছেন লাইনে।
জি মিলন ভাই, floor is yours. We want to see you, hear you. People are very excited that you are taking in charge of Texas as the president of the chapter in the future. Where are you?
I am here. You will not see? You not see me?
Now I see. Yes.
জি মিলন ভাই, বলেন। জি।
I hear long time talking. I thank you. At first, I give salam, acting president of the meeting and all members.
Thank you.
And I believe ASAAL will grow more, and I will to help more people. And আমি আসলে একটু বাংলায় বলি যে আমি এই সংগঠনের সাথে আপনাদের সাথে এর ভিতরে মানে আপনারা যে সুযোগ দিচ্ছেন আমাকে, আমি এখানে কাজ করতে পেরে আমি খুবই আনন্দিত। আমি আনন্দিত বোধ করতেছি নিজেকে যে না, আমি একটা সংগঠনের সাথে জড়িত হতে পারলাম, এবং আমার চেষ্টা থাকবে টেক্সাসে যেন এইটা ASAAL এটা অনেক বড় করতে পারি আপনাদের সহযোগিতা নিয়ে।
ইনশাআল্লাহ
ইনশাআল্লাহ এটা হবে আমি আশা করি, এবং আমার থেকে আপনারা যেটা আশা করেন আমি আশা করি এটা করতে পারবো, আপনাদের আশা আমি পূরণ করতে পারবো। আমি আশা রাখি যারা আছেন অল মেম্বার যারা এখানে আছেন তারা আমার জন্য দোয়া করবেন, আমি যেন টেক্সাসে আপনাদের ভালো একটা সংগঠন উপহার দিতে পারি, এই আর কি। আর আমি শুনতেছি আপনাদের কথা, আমি আসলে শুনে আমি বোঝার চেষ্টা করতেছি আসলে মানে আপনারা কি চাচ্ছেন এই আসালের মাধ্যমে। আমি তো একটা দুটো মিটিং এ জয়েন করলাম, আপনাদের এই বক্তব্য শুনে আমি বুঝতে পারছি আসলে এটার আপনারা কি চান, এটার কোন পর্যায়ে নিতে চান আপনারা এই সংগঠনটার, এবং এর মাধ্যমে আপনারা কি আশা করেন, এইটা আমি বোঝার চেষ্টা করতেছি এবং অনেকটা আমি বুঝছি। ধন্যবাদ, থ্যাংক ইউ অল মেম্বার্স অ্যান্ড আসাল। যে আমি আশা করি এটা বড় হোক, উত্তরোত্তর আরো এই সংগঠনের মর্যাদা বৃদ্ধি হোক এবং এটা বাড়ুক। ধন্যবাদ।
Thank you.
Farooq Sarkar from Florida, he just joined. Farooq Sarkar.
Yeah, no, I am coming there. Yeah, I think I see Afroza Begum Rosie. I think she's here, but she was not introduced. Rosie, then Sarkar Bhai. Rosie, go ahead.
Rosie, unmute yourself, please. Unmute.
Yeah, hi, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Afroza Begum Rosie, and I'm ASAAL member and also vice president maybe next time. So actually today I'm gathering a lot of knowledge from our big leader is there. Thank you, God bless them, our all leader. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Farooq Bhai from Florida, Farooq Sarkar. Please take a minute. We are about to end. We have to close it. Farooq Sarkar, please introduce yourself. Unmute yourself. You can talk.
Yeah, already I am unmuted. Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen, everyone. I am from Florida, Farooq Sarkar, Florida chapter. And actually, I am really getting a lot of experience from the ASAAL. So hopefully in future, we'll do something much better in Florida. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to do something. Assalamu alaikum again. Okay, Allah Hafiz.
Sarkar Bhai, you are doing great. I heard you are preparing your full committee soon. We look forward to see your full committee. You are established leader there. We do not have to tell you this thing. You are established leader in Florida. So we look forward to see your full committee and meet you there in Florida in this summer.
Inshallah, we'll do something. We'll do it.
Mezabai, Dr. Rabi Alam wants to take 30 seconds.
Okay, before Rabi Bhai, I would like to share my feelings about Mrs. Cotton Stringer today within 10 seconds.
Go ahead.
Can I? Okay, so for Mrs. Cotton Stringer, he is very much grounded, and we know him for years. He came in Queens in Harvest Hall. He met with us and he discussed in every issue. So that is why maybe my strong feelings goes for him, because he is the one, he knows the community's problems. So as my personal feeling says that we should go for Mr. Scott M. Stringer.
All right, thank you. Oil noted. Nazbai, please unmute yourself. You are still muted. I'm trying to mute you.
Sorry, actually sound is very bad. I'm not hearing properly. I don't know.
Okay, Rosie, meeting already within 1 minute.
I'm sorry to say, yeah.
Maybe it's your. Karim Bhai, thank you. Let me take my minute.
Less than a minute. It's 30 seconds. Go ahead, please.
I know, but this is a point of business. I'm sorry. No, this is a point of business. If Maf Mesbah would run today, and we all come and support him as the mayor of New York City, let's put that equation for a second. We've been learning, we've been empowering, executing, and putting the community last 12 years. First of all, put your hand together that we have done under the leadership of Maf Mesbah and Mohammad Karim for profound last 5 years. It's a great level of development and achievement for ASAAL National. This is my point of business. Knowing Scott for many years, how he became the beacon of the hope of our community. Really, if there is even another candidate like when if Maf Misbah and Muhammad Karim would run, we don't have another choice but support Maf Misbah. You know, this is the feeling of the community, as Adan Islam is saying. So even we can discuss with any other candidate in a very small platform. But after speaking and listening and going and seeing this man been coming to our ASAAL past 4 or 5 national convention I have seen, coming and staying there for hour after hour and really growing as a one community. So I just want to bring a motion, whether you want to table that motion this time or next time. But if the president must allow me, my motion.
No.
No.
Rabi bhai,
I
don't do that.
know, but this is my motion. This is my motion. Please let me
Yeah.
hear that. We can discuss that motion. That as because the way Mr. Scott Stringer is involved and evolved with our organization, that's why ASAAL should vitalize and really consider for Scott Stringer for the next mayoral candidate as an endorsee. This is my motion.
Thank you.
You can table it, or you can refer it, or you can discard it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Rabi bhai, this is the moment that we should not waste our time and move forward with our endorsement. However, Map Mesbah, I think since there is an issue and Floor said some time to ask other questions, whether they want to explore whether we can hear from other candidates. When we place this candidate in that forum, our executive national leaders, council leaders, chapter leaders, our community organizers, they know what it does mean when Map Mesbauddin placed only one candidate in this meeting. It sends a message to the political people in the political ground. So being said that, we are open to discuss everything on table. As of now, with Adan, you and many other members of this committee, we have opinion as well. So since myself and Map Mesbauddin will not place our opinion at this forum, we heard every one of you. But please
That's
wait.
good. Yeah, Kurme, let us see. Qazi Jahidul Islam, your hand is up. Do you want to say something?
Now,
or he already spoke?
He spoke, introduce.
Oh, he already did. Okay.
Yeah. He did it. Another person I see.
Musharraf bhai, do you want to say something?
No, I would like to discuss about this motion.
Okay.
Because it depends our leaders. Are we closing? Are we not interviewing anybody? If it's not, then we can make a decision. Otherwise, I think we should put the motion on the table. And after we finish all the screening, then we can make the opinion we're going to choose.
No, I think, look, most of you are leaders. And we always believe ASAAL Executive Council or chapter presidents, you all are leader of the leaders. So there is no doubt about that. Your thinking, your process, this motion is a valid motion. It was seconded. The motion was seconded.
No, it was seconded by that gentleman, Muhammad Chaudhary.
Oh, okay.
There is a proposal to discuss further.
No, we'll discuss it. No, the motion is on the floor, properly brought and properly seconded. Let us discuss, no problem. Now, I think in the first discussion, Muhammad Chaudhary of Manhattan or New York chapter president asked questions. And that question, I think only me and Kurin Chaudhary can answer. His question is that if ASAAL don't think that they're going to bring more candidates, and then we should table it. If we are not bringing more candidates, then we should save our time and start working. I think this is a very good proposal. So I want you to hear from me. I think though I did not want it to be recorded like this, now, very simple. Most of you came to our convention. Yes.
Should we stop the broadcasting?